So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We have a plethora of great information for you today, and we have the opportunity to learn a little bit about our federal agencies around Ohio, as well as to learn about their workforce requirements and to be able to ask questions as well. So I am Cassie Barlow. I am the president of SOCHE, the Strategic Ohio Council for Higher Education, and we are very, very happy to have you here with us today. I have with me today my colleague, Patty Buttlemeyer, who is the Vice President for Development at SOCHE, and we're excited to bring this opportunity to you today. With us, we are very lucky to have quite a few federal agencies who have joined us from across Ohio. First and foremost, we have the National Air and Space Intelligence Center. We also have the National Space Intelligence Center. We have the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. We have the Air Force Research Laboratory. We have the 88th Air Base Wing. We also have the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, otherwise known as NASA. And we also have several VA facilities from across the state. We have the Dayton VA, the Cincinnati VA, and the Chillicothe VA. So we are excited to share their missions with you and share their workforce needs, and probably most importantly, how your students can get to them, how your students can apply for those opportunities, both from an internship perspective and from a job perspective when they are ready for applying for jobs. So without further ado, I am going to dive in to our slide presentation. There are a few embedded videos in the beginning of the presentation, and then we'll have some slide presentations as well as a Q&A at the end. So thank you again for joining us. And just FYI, last time it took us just about an hour for the presentation. So if you're looking at the time frame, just want to let you know what the total time allotment will be. So from the perspective of SOCHE, if you're not familiar with us, just want to do a quick intro. We are a consortium of colleges and universities across Ohio. We just celebrated our 55th anniversary, and we are all about working together with our colleges and universities and K-12, as well as industry, and focused on our economy. It's all about our economy, transforming the economy through education and employment. And we do that in two different ways. Primarily, one is through working directly and collaborating with colleges and universities. The second is through our workforce development programming and internships. So just to chat a little bit about these, our professional development side is really focused on faculty and staff, and getting our faculty and staff the development they need at the time they need it through a variety of different mechanisms, whether those are workforce or workshops or conferences or lunch and learns or committee meetings. Or even webinar. We have a webinar series at SOCHE that we subscribe to through Innovative Educators. So that's the professional development side. The workforce side, as I mentioned, is really focused on internships and work-based learning opportunities for our students. We also, as a result of a previous Workforce We Need initiative, have developed a federal opportunity website. And this was developed for our colleges and universities as a resource for you. And it gives you an opportunity to see what the internship options are for your students, as well as the full-time work options. It also gives some training sessions and short webinars on how to apply for jobs through USA Jobs. There's also a short webinar on the security clearance process and the benefits of working for the federal government. So would encourage you to utilize this resource. both for, internal to your departments and career services, but also to share with your students as a resource. So to get us started this morning, we have a short video from Congressman Turner.
Hi, I'm Congressman Mike Turner. Thank you for your interest in Southwest Ohio's robust defense industrial base, which includes Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. As academic leaders, you are uniquely positioned to expand educational opportunities for the next generation of national security experts. This means a workforce prepared to fill these highly skilled and specialized positions in both government and industry. Your work directly and positively impacts our national security, and we thank you for that. Ohio is home to various defense and aerospace research installations and a diverse manufacturing base. Each organization here today has unique and specialized career opportunities. With your partnership, we will be able to not only strengthen our local defense industry, but also advance the United States' role as a leader in security technology. Thank you.
So thanks to Congressman Turner for opening it up for us. And next we have a video from Lieutenant General Sean Morris, who is the commander of the Life Cycle Management Center.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant General Sean Morris, commander of the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio. Thank you for your interest in what we do, our civilian career opportunities, and the skills we are looking for in future employees. As leaders and educators at colleges and universities across Ohio, you play an essential role in developing the next generation of business and national defense leaders. Today you'll hear from 4 organizations located at Wright-Pat, including the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, the National Space Intelligence Center, the Air Force Research Laboratory, and the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. Each organization has a unique mission and career opportunities, which we look forward to sharing with you today.
All right, so we're going to jump now into a video that combines all of these organizations and tells you about each of their missions as well as their workforce needs. So let's proceed to the next video.
Hi, I'm Melanie Marshall, Director of the Acquisition Center of Excellence. As Lieutenant General Morris just mentioned, we will learn about several organizations located at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. First, we'll hear from the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, more commonly known as NASIC, followed by the National Space Intelligence Center, or NSIC.
You went to college to change your life. Come to NASIC to change the world. NASIC, the National Air and Space Intelligence Center. We lead the nation in scientific and technical intelligence. Our subject matter experts give us the edge over our adversaries. What we do today determines victory or defeat in the future battle space. We are the only people who do what we do.
NASIC is really cool because it takes all these different disciplines and puts them together in a room and has everybody work together.
You have experts on various systems, various phenomena, countries.
This actually gave me an opportunity to serve my country.
Just someplace that directly contributes to the nation's security.
I feel like NASIC has a unique opportunity where you get paid well for what you do, and you are working in a mission where you literally cannot do this anywhere else.
The stuff I get to work on is only known by about 20 people, and we actually call it magic and sorcery in the office, and that's kind of what I get to do every day. I get to work on magic and sorcery.
There was a lot of opportunity for growth. You don't have to stay in one place for too long if you don't want to. I learned a whole bunch of new skills that I feel fit me much better as a person, and it makes me, I actually enjoy the work that I'm doing now.
I love my coworkers. It does not feel like a job. It's a second home to me.
We're growing, and we want you to grow with us. When you work at NASIC, you can change the world. If you'd like to be a part of the team, visit our LinkedIn page, where you can learn more about NASIC and check out our current job openings.
We are the National Space Intelligence Center, or NSIC. At NSIC, we produce scientific and technical intelligence on foreign space and counter space capabilities. Our products go to national policymakers, acquisitions professionals, and warfighters globally. As Space Force Guardians, we help ensure the space domain is safe and secure, not only for our nation, but for the entire world. Help your students find their role on our team. We need people who are capable of solving the hard problems of space, not just thinking outside the box, but really thinking outside the atmosphere in one of the most challenging environments ever known.
Properly interpreting and managing intel gives the Space Force its competitive advantage. Intelligence analysts on our team analyze raw data and its usability to fulfill mission requirements. Additionally, they report and distribute information to military personnel across the globe, helping them get the information needed to remain protected and aware of foreseeable threats. A bachelor's degree in intelligence, political science, regional studies, or previous experience in a related field will make you a better intelligence analyst. In modern warfare, technology can't just be effective, it must be fail-safe. Our developmental engineers make sure our hardware and software are safe against intrusion, whether combat or cyberspace attack. Covering an array of specialties from aeronautical to mechanical, their skills and knowledge to plan and implement projects are absolutely integral to national security and successful mission completion. A bachelor's degree in engineering related to one of the following specialties: aerospace, aeronautical, astronautical, computer, electrical, electronics, or mechanical is required to become a developmental engineer. Many of our country's greatest threats reside in cyberspace as bad actors try to extract critical information unseen to the untrained eye. Our cyber intelligence experts are trained to identify, target, and decipher these complex problems. Critical thinking is vital in deciphering this time-sensitive information to support global operations and key decision makers. The digital arena is constantly being contested, and our information technology department works to keep all our vital intelligence information secure, confidential, and available. They work with specialized software and hardware systems across the globe to protect our cyberspace systems and infrastructure from domestic and international threats. A bachelor's degree in information technology or a related field is required to become a cyber analyst.
Today, space is essential to our way of life. From GPS navigation to weather prediction and missile launch detection, there's no such thing as a day without space. Maybe your purpose on this planet isn't on this planet. Maybe your purpose is to help NSIC keep space safe and secure. As we grow our workforce, help your students make history with us. We anticipate onboarding over 50 developmental hires in 2024 and are actively hiring for STEM career fields and intelligence specialists. Our STEM cyber career field salaries start at $76,000 and our non-STEM career fields salaries start at $48,000. More information, including how to apply, can be found on our NSIC LinkedIn page.
Thank you, NASIC and NSIC. Now we'll hear from the Air Force Research Laboratory about its mission and wide range of career opportunities for college graduates, especially those in human sciences fields.
The Air Force Research Laboratory leads the discovery, development, and delivery of warfighting technologies for our air, space, and cyber forces. Our scientists, researchers, and professionals reimagine what is possible, creating tomorrow's technology today. This pursuit of innovation delivers solutions for our warfighters' urgent needs, deterring conflict, saving lives, and protecting our way of life. AFRL employs over 5,000 civilians across the world in areas including numerous science and engineering disciplines, contracting, finance, security, public affairs, human resources, program management, and more. At AFRL, we are dedicated to building a workplace with diverse experiences, perspectives, and talent that enables us to effectively accomplish and accelerate our mission. So, if you or someone you know is excited about these opportunities, we strongly encourage you to apply at afresearchlab.com. You may be just the right candidate for one of our roles. Here's a quick look at some of the amazing work being done in the lab. Today's world is more connected and moves faster than ever before. But these technological advancements bring more threats to our way of life. With roots tracing back to 1917, the Air Force Research Laboratory continues to deliver technologies with speed, building on its strong foundation of scientific research and innovation to support our warfighters in defending our freedoms. Now, through streamlined processes, digital transformation, and a concerted focus, AFRL accelerates science and technology to meet the Department of the Air Force's priorities and prevail in the future. Supporting the Air Force and Space Force, we are one AFRL, one fight.
Thanks, AFRL. Last up is the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center, which the Acquisition Center of Excellence that I direct is a part of. The Air Force Lifecycle Management Center is responsible for acquiring, modernizing, and sustaining U.S. and Allied Force aircraft, engines, munitions, electronic equipment, computer networks, cyber, and agile combat support systems. Our uniformed and civilian airmen work on everything from designing and outfitting uniforms for the Air Force and Space Force to providing engineering and other technical and professional expertise that ensures the safe and effective operation of Air Force aircraft, to include perhaps the most famous airplane in the world, Air Force One. We employ about 29,000 people at 9 major locations around the United States, to include here in Ohio. An essential part of our success is our workforce, and we put a lot of effort into recruiting the right candidates. What we are looking for in our future employees are talented, multi-skilled individuals who are creative, able to problem solve, and use emerging technologies. We have opportunities in engineering, program management, contracting, logistics, finance, information technology, information protection, intelligence, as well as human resources. We encourage prospective candidates to visit our website at www.aflcmc.af.mil and click on the AFL-CMC Jobs tab located at the top right-hand corner of the page. On this site, candidates can learn more about our key occupations that deliver war-winning capabilities in support of our national defense. Also located on the website is a resume drop box. Here, candidates can identify their interest in employment with AFL-CMC and submit an application for review by our professional sourcing and recruitment teams. We also share information about our in-person and digital hiring and recruitment events we've been conducting. These events are a great way to meet and educate prospective candidates about the exceptional opportunities and employment benefits we have to offer here at the Air Force. We need your help in identifying students that would be interested in civilian careers with the Air Force and connecting them with us. On behalf of all of us here, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day.
What we'd like to do next is talk through with the folks who are here online with us today and amplify a little bit our videos that we just listened to. So first, I'd like to introduce Erin O'Brien, who is the Director of Human Resources for the National Air and Space Intelligence Center. Over to you, Erin.
Thanks very much, Dr. Barlow. And Patty, I appreciate you putting all this together. Thank you so much for everyone who is on the Zoom call today. We really appreciate you making time to learn more about the opportunities to support our nation and specifically support national defense. The National Air and Space Intelligence Center is truly an organization. We are part of the Air Force, but we're also part of the intelligence community. And so we have very, very unique opportunities to solve national defense problems that are really at the forefront of the news today. So the opportunities that your students could have to make contributions to our national defense are really limitless. Our organization is about 4,000 people. We have about 1,600 civilian employees. We have about 800 military members of all ranks, enlisted and officer. And then we have a very large contractor workforce, which can also be another pathway for people to work in our organization. So I never want to have your students feel like the civil service route is the only route to be able to support national defense. One of the unique things about working at NASIC and then also at NSIC, the National Space Intelligence Center, we do require a higher level of security clearance. So when Dr. Barlow mentioned checking out those resources to understand the security clearance process, I definitely encourage you to check that out and then encourage your students to learn about the security clearance process. At our organization, the top secret level clearance, it is a very in-depth background investigation. So it can take, upwards of 8 to 9 months. And so what that means for your students is, just kind of explaining that it can be a lengthy process. And so if they're starting their junior or senior year and they really think that they are interested in employment with our organization or potentially NSIC, just so they understand that there is that lengthy process involved in the hiring and application process. I would also encourage your students to check out, there's many articles that are available about changes in our pay scales for our technical workforce, our scientists and engineers. There have been significant changes to our pay and compensation for the STEM talent that we need in our organization. So I look forward to this being the beginning of dialogue, not only with SOCI and connecting with all of the college and university partners. So thanks very much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Erin. Appreciate that. I would like to see if we have anybody online from the National Space Intelligence Center, if you have anything to amplify on your video. Okay, maybe not. What about the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center? Do we have anybody online with anything to add on your video? Okay, I know we have somebody online from the Air Force Research Lab, so I'm going to turn it over to them. Any amplifying comments on your video?
Sure. I'm Mike Stevenson. I'm the Deputy Director of Personnel at the Air Force Research Lab. Just a couple of things I'd like to amplify. We are at the Air Force Research Lab, we are literally two services. So we're one laboratory consisting of two services. So we have Airmen and Guardians, Space Force and Air Force. And I know the video said this, but we aren't just hiring STEM occupations. We have the full line of support that we hire for as well. And I think the last thing I'd like to amplify is the best place to get information on both student programs and employment is the afresearchlab.com website. If you go to that website and click on the careers tab, it will take you to where you can find all of those types of opportunities. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mike. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. At this point, we are going to flip over to the 88th Air Base Wing, who has a lot more opportunities across a wider spectrum that are available for your students. And even I know we have some career tech ed centers online today. You'll be interested in listening to this part of the presentation as well. I also want to remind everybody to please, if you have questions, please place your questions into the chat box, and we will get to those questions a little bit further on in the presentation. So Caitlin, I'm going to turn it over to you from the 88th Air Base Wing.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Caitlin Lange. I am one of the branch chiefs here in civilian personnel at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. So a little bit of background on the 88th. So we operate the airfield and maintain all infrastructure here on Wright-Pat. We have about 5,000 officers enlisted, Air Force civilians, and contractor positions. If you want to go to the next slide, Patty. So this is going to be our projected vacancies for our civil engineering group. So there's a variety of positions here, and not all of them require a college degree. So some of them are in the white collar fields or the blue collar fields. You can see things like a boiler plant mechanic, a firefighter, HVAC, plumber. Those do not require degrees. And then you can see how many we're projected to hire, and then their typical salary ranges on this side. And then if you want to go to the next slide. This is going to be for our mission support group, and I was a little quick to push the button, but I did drop down a fact sheet for Pathways interns into the chat if you guys want to go out and save that. That just talks about the eligibility of the program altogether, the qualifications, and how to apply. Specifically good for our high school students or our college students looking for a position on base. We have childcare, lifeguards, and then our Pathways announcements. Last year, they were posted on USA Jobs from March to July, and we would pull probably like every 15 days to see if we had anybody new apply to those positions. So last year, I just wanted to go over what Pathways students that we did have announcements out there for. So we had some for administration, accounting and budget, a recreation aide. Those would be like the people working in our fitness centers, lifeguards, engineer students, and our laborers. And again, this is how many we're going to be recruiting for this upcoming year. So next slide. This is our wing staff agencies. These are more of our actual careers versus internships. So I will go over how you can apply for these positions. But again, these are the career fields, and then the annual requirement, and then typical salary range. Next slide. So like I was saying, this is your federal application process. We do utilize USA Jobs, so you can go ahead and create an account. It's very quick and easy. You can search for jobs, and you can search for them based on occupational series, the location that you want to look at. You can search for full-time, part-time, students, recent graduates, all of that is in the filter sections in USA Jobs. And then you can also like have a save search. So if you don't see anything today and you want to say, I want to be an engineer, you can have USA Jobs email you those links every week. So that's all I have. I will be sharing the Pathways announcements with Sochi, and they will send those out when the time comes next year. And that's all I have. I will drop down our workflow inbox if you have any general questions. I'll put that in the chat, and please feel free to email me. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Caitlin. Appreciate that. So next we have the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, otherwise known as NASA. We've got a short video to get us started, and then we'll have Ron jump in and provide some details.
We have taken tremendous steps.
We choose to go to the moon before this decade is out.
We have achieved the earth-shaking, the breathtaking, the groundbreaking, and left a mark in the heavens. Our successes build one upon another and amplify what is possible. It's time we take the next great leap. We're building the next chapter of American exploration, returning to the moon to stay, so we can go beyond to Mars, to expand what's possible and further our understanding. The architecture for these missions is already taking shape. We will go with new systems, bold designs, and a sustainable mission. You can hear it, taste it, touch it. We are going. We are training, testing, pressing our pioneering spirit into every component. Defining our resolve with every line of code, and securing our success with every welcomed partnership. This is not hypothetical. This is not about flags and footprints. This is about sustainable science and feeding forward the advance of the human spirit. Because we are the pioneers, the star sailors, the thinkers, the visionaries, the doers. And because we stand on the shoulders of giants to go farther than humanity has ever been, we will add our names to the rolls of the greatest adventurers in history. Every day, every mission, we advance this calling. We are NASA. And after 60 years, we're just getting started.
All right, Ron, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. So my name is Ron Mullinex. NASA Glenn Research Center is next to the airport in Cleveland, Ohio. We also have a facility in Sandusky, Armstrong Test Facility. While NASA has 18,000 plus civil servants, Glenn has 1,500, a little over 3,000 total employees with our contractor workforce. You can see some of the skills that our core capabilities are. A lot of them are around power, electrical, of course, aerospace engineering. In-space propulsion has become a big electrical. We have electric engines, ion engines that send the spacecraft way out into the universe. So next slide, please. I want to talk about our vacancies that we typically look for. We hire on average a little over 100 civil service positions per year. And again, this is the kind of the average numbers for the 3-year hiring window, show some of the salary ranges. And also note that we do have, attorneys, HR, procurement, budget and finance. So a lot of other support type roles. And our Pathways program typically is 35 to 45 employees per year. So we have usually 2 announcements per year, one in the spring, one in the fall. You can go to USA Jobs, as was mentioned, and follow those same instructions. Search on NASA. You can see our current vacancies. And if there's any questions, you can reach out to me and or Jerry Traster at NASA Glenn. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate it. We are going to transition now to the Veterans Affairs medical centers that we have across our state. We have several, and they have quite a few hiring needs as well. So we are going to transition first to Erin Heyman, who is here with us today. So Erin, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk the Dayton VA requirements.
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you again to Dr. Barlow and Soshi for having us. This is such a great opportunity. The VA is a learned hospital. I myself came through the VA as an intern, so I'm very passionate about this. Our mission in our healthcare system is to offer timely and quality service to our veterans and their families. And the only way that we can do that is to have really great staff. We do believe that if we grow our staff from intern level, student level, that we can maintain them and hopefully keep them there, and they will learn all the skills that they would need. Some of the fields that are just growing as technology is just amplifying is logistics, informatics techs. We have a new health technology management department that we just developed this year, and we truly cannot create enough positions with folks that are coming through or wanting this. Radiology tech, a lot of program analysts. So with all of these great fields, you have all of this data that is coming in and out. And of course, we have our clinical fields that continue to grow as well if there is opportunity for students to come in for that. So like social work, mental health, psychology, and of course, our providers. Some of the things that we look for or attempt to grow in our students or folks coming in is communication, effective communication, being able to multitask with a high level of organization, computer skills that can be built upon, and just a basic understanding of inventory, hospital inventory. For more information, just like other presenters have said, you can go on USA Jobs. However, if there are particular questions that anyone has, or if anyone wants to connect with one of our student programs, or just in regards to positions that are currently open at the Dayton VA, you can give me, you can send me an email and I will get you connected to our HR department. And I guess just as the last thing I would like to say, anyone who would be coming in, Dayton is a great location to be in, just being in the middle of everything and being able to travel to either Columbus, Cincinnati. So if you cannot tell, I love the Dayton VA. So we look forward to hopefully bringing in some new blood. So thank you so much, Dr. Barlow.
Thank you so much, Erin. Appreciate it. Appreciate being here today with us. So next we have David Behringer from the Cincinnati VA.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Again, as Erin said, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to be able to present our information. Cincinnati VA is about an hour from the Dayton VA, so we have a lot of similar needs, but if your students are placed in various geographic locations, the Cincinnati VA may be a great opportunity for them. We have approximately 2,600 employees. And we have a full hospital and then 6 community outpatient centers that are actually spread in 3 different states. So we have Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Up here on the career field, I put some of the careers, outside of the normal healthcare factors. We're always looking for providers and radiology techs and medical technologists, but we have also some support staff that may be a benefit to some of your students as they graduate, whether it's in fiscal service or logistics or business office. There's a great need, and we're always hiring at the VA as people age and retire. So we would love, to encourage folks to apply. Again, like everybody, our application process is through usajobs.gov. I will drop my email in the chat as well. If anybody has any questions in particular to the Cincinnati VA, feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so the last group is the Chillicothe Medical Center VA. So is Robert or any of his colleagues online from Chillicothe? All right, well, I'm going to walk through his slides. These are Chillicothe's annual hiring projections. So they have a need, obviously, for clinicians and nurses as well. And the way that you apply for their positions is also through USA Jobs. So our last slide really gets at, we had some great questions asked at our last gathering. We have 4 sessions that are addressing the workforce needs. So we had some really good questions asked last time, so we thought we would start with those. And I'd like to ask for our briefers who are here to jump in and help with answering these questions from the perspective of the hiring process. So can one of you give us an idea on beginning to end? What is the typical timeline on hiring?
Dr. Barlow, I'll jump in expecting that others will share their organization's perspective. As I mentioned, the nature of the in-depth background investigation associated with employment at NASIC and NSIC does increase that overall the hiring application process. One of the things that students or applicants would find in the way that we manage our hiring process, we use a video software tool called HireView, and the student will answer a series of questions and actually record themselves responding to those questions. And they will upload their resume. So it's a kind of 2-part type of process: the uploading of the resume and then completing the video presentation puts a student into a bank, if you will, and supervisors who have vacancies to fill, they can go into the HireView database and look for candidates who have perhaps the degree that they're looking for. And we use a tagging type of process, so they can find everyone who has an aerospace engineer degree, as an example. And the student will remain in that queue, in that database for up to a year. And then at that point, then they would be archived. So I'm saying that because they can be available and a supervisor could reach out to a student to maybe have, a little more one-on-one conversation to see if there might be a good fit. And they would go to maybe a more formal type of interview experience. Again, that's still not a formal job offer. So if there wasn't an extension of a job offer, that's when that background investigation would begin. So it can be a lengthy process. And so just kind of setting expectations, I think, is what my takeaway would be for you today. Over.
Fantastic. Thanks, Erin. Caitlin, any thoughts from your perspective, or Erin from the VA?
Definitely from the VA. So the VA launched nationally an initiative called Time to Hire. And so this is essentially us trying to get employees in within about a 90-day time frame. I'm actually looking at our numbers now. And so within our business, so basically our hospitals within Ohio, we're averaging in anywhere between 90 and 100 days, Dayton being at about 90 days. So roughly about 3 months from when someone applies, they're interviewed, and they're actually on board and has gone through orientation. Just remembering that in between that, there is a physical involved, a background check involved, and there are other things that the applicant may need to do on their end. I would share, if you have students who anticipate or would like to apply to the VA and they are offered a position, I always let them know. The process may be a little long. However, there's always someone that is on the announcement on the USA Jobs. Please just keep in touch with them to see where the process is going. And please just hold tight, as it can be longer, obviously, than the community, but it's averaging about 90 days. I think for students, however, particularly if there is a time frame that they have to be on board due to like their school requirement or graduation requirement or something of that nature, that time frame can be shorter depending on the actual program. So I hope that gives a little bit of insight.
Yes, thank you very much. Caitlin?
Yep. So we follow an 80-day hiring model. So that's what we typically shoot for. For our summer pathway interns, we really are going to try to get them done as quickly as possible, since they are only on a limited time frame, which is the summer. So I really don't have numbers for you. I will get those numbers, but I know going forward, or last year, it took them a little longer than what we had expected, and they only had like a month or so to work in the summertime. So we are making those changes so they are able to work throughout the whole entire summer.
Okay, thank you. And I think Aaron did a good job on talking through the security clearance process, which is really a requirement, except I would say for the VA, which is more of a background check, right, Aaron? Okay. Any of our briefers, would you like to just spend a minute talking about overarching benefits of working for the federal government?
I could definitely talk about some VA wise. We have a lot of loan repayment programs right now for students who are looking to come in and get those loans paid off, as well as I always let people know, obviously there's a VA in every city or state, so you can move around a lot. We are moving towards telework and remote positions, so people are able to work from home and have a better life balance. And there is such an opportunity for growth. So you may come in and do something, but the VA truly believes in stretch assignments. And so you may go somewhere else for a 2-week or 120-day period just to see how that facility operates. So that is just some of the benefits. And of course, if you become an employee full-time, the actual benefits of health benefits and things like that far exceed what you may expect. So those are some of the things that the VA does offer.
Awesome. Any other thoughts on that?
I would like to add on to that as well. So just thinking about like our vacation time and our sick leave, holiday times, I feel like it's very generous. We also do have, if you are expecting a baby, we have 12 weeks paid leave. So those are just some of those things that are helpful for working for the government.
Yes, and at NASA, on top of that, I'd just like to add, we have the same work-life benefits. On site, we have daycare. We also have a fitness facility. There's many clubs, sporting events, so it is a nice work environment.
And I'll chime in too. In the last several years, civilian employees are now able to take advantage of the commissary and base exchange privileges. So there's a significant savings that you can benefit from being able to shop at the facilities that are on any Air Force base. So that's not only at Wright-Patt, that would be anywhere that someone might be working on a military installation. So that's a really, really great benefit. Specifically at NASIC, we have a very robust training budget. We believe that professional development and personal development is really, really important to the employee experience. And so we do have civilian tuition assistance to help cover 75% of college tuition. We have a lot of training and workforce development opportunities. And then the really neat thing about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is you've heard from the Life Cycle Management Center and Air Force Research Laboratory, there's a lot of opportunities to cross organizations. And in the last several years, we have created some rotational types of experiences. So people who have worked in our organization and have the unique perspectives and insights from the intelligence community, people have actually gone over to the Air Force Research Laboratory for a year to broaden and deepen their understanding of how we work together. So I think those are some really great benefits to again be able to make contributions and have impact in some really very unique aspects of our nation.
Thanks so much, Erin. The last question that was asked last time was, what's the difference between all of the different federal government internships? I could probably spend the next hour talking about that, but we're not going to do that. What I do want to do, though, is show you our website that points out all of the different great opportunities for your students. And each one of these has a different focus area that we encourage you to share with your students for them to take a look at, so that this column right here is all of the different internships, to include the NASA student internship programs. And Erin, from the VA, we need to get yours on here as well. But would encourage you to show your students that there's many different opportunities for internships. And now I'd like to just open it to see if there's any other questions. Patty, do we have any other questions in the chat?
Yeah, I know there was a couple going through with the chat, and I had one clarifying question about the U.S. citizenship. Does somebody working at the VA have to be a U.S. citizen?
So that is a great question. So technically, no. However, if an announcement goes out for a job, what is going to happen is all of the U.S. citizens that have applied for are going to go through the process first. And then if at that time there is no applicant that is valuable to that position, then the VA is able to look into applicants who are non-U.S. citizen. That typically only comes into play with physicians who are doing some type of specialty, because we typically do find a U.S. citizen because the net is so wide once you start looking for that. So in most cases, it doesn't occur, but it can.
Thank you.
No problem.
Another question is, great explanation on security clearance, but the question revolves around, can a student start working without the security clearance? Is there anything they can do, or do they have to wait the 8-9 months?
So I'll talk for the Air Base Wing. So our positions have very low security clearances. They can have a security waiver form, so the supervisor would sign off of that, and then we would get the process started, and they can still work.
Thank you.
For NASIC, and I'll speak for NSIC, they would not be able to start working without the clearance.
Yeah. And so, as a follow-up, you would recommend, if somebody wanted to work at NASIC, to start the process beginning of their senior year. So
yes.
when they graduate in May, they'll be getting a job. They'll hopefully be starting their employment right around that time frame.
Yes. Yes.
All righty. Any other questions from anybody? You can come off mute and ask, or you can type it in the chat.
Yeah, so you just showed us an internship list that you had up. I'm having trouble locating that. Could you show us where you found it, please?
Absolutely. Sorry about that, Liz. Let me put the link in the chat box. That would probably be the easiest thing to do.
But if you go under serving college students and go scroll down.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sue Scheitzo, and I am from Northeast Ohio. I manage the Job Shadow program at Cuyahoga Community College, warmly known as Tri-C. And my question is, I know that I've been in Dayton. I'm a fan of Right Pat Ayers, Right Pat. But I would like my students to be able to be introduced to you guys on that side of it. Would any of your organizations be willing to, those that can, do a virtual job shadow or an informational interview or anything like that, so we can get you warm bodies from Northeast Ohio who want to go into those types of fields? Because I have them.
That's a great question, Sue. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, we will work on that. That's a great idea, and certainly we can do that virtually. There's no reason why we can't. So that's a great idea.
Hey,
If
Sue, do you have a particular career field that these students are looking in?
I have all of them. I have students that have asked for aerospace. I have students that have asked for human resources. I have students that have asked for photography because NASA is actually taking a group of our students on February 15th for like 15 different industries. So whatever you guys can do virtually would benefit my students. I partner with Say Yes Scholars, which they have low at risk people who come in. If those are the types of students I want them to see the possibility and the hopes of them going to something like this. Yeah, if I can help build this type of it with Sochi and all of this, I'm on board, because I can show you testimonies from all of my students who have went to job shadowing. Surgical tech. I had a surgical tech student who went in and actually was part of a surgery from beginning to end and touched the appendix when it came out. While that was disgusting learning while I was eating dinner with my father, the side token of that is, how do you ever forget that? And knowing what the government and I have us going to the US Marshals, we do an FBI tour. This is just something else that would be so fascinating for our students. I want that side of Ohio to mesh with Cleveland. So
Awesome.
however I can help with that, please, 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 please.
I love it. Well, here's one way. We are going to post this video that we're taking today, that we're recording, to our federal website and get that out to all of you. So one way is to be able to show your students some of the videos that you saw today. But I hear you loud and clear. We need to get something else out and available that will highlight some of the career fields.
Perfect. I'll link up with you guys on LinkedIn, so then that way we can have the conversations and stuff, and however I can help, I'm happy to.
Super, super. And Miss Butler, it looks like you have a question.
I don't have a question. I just want to piggyback off of what Sue said. I concur. I'm in Lake County, Ohio, which puts me even in another, hey, Sue, which puts me in a whole other category, because I have students who don't even know that there is a Federal Reserve Bank in downtown Cleveland, because it's not in the backyard of where they're living, yet they're getting these degrees in information technology. There's, we're trying to move in a direction to get them to NASA and to some of those places, but even NASA or the IX Center in relative, proximity to where our students are living, like Lakewood in Lake County and in Painesville, Perry, Madison, and those areas, they don't even know about this. So to be able to begin the conversation with something such as, a video on job shadowing, or the ability to have them to do a remote job shadow, would just be great. Because transportation sometimes gets costly, but if we can connect them by, Teams or WebEx or Zoom, and then get them excited about it, so they do have the confidence to want to travel to the southern part of the state.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. That is really good intel. Appreciate it. All right, who else? Who else has a question? Anybody? We certainly appreciate everybody's time today. We have 2 more of these sessions that we are going to host. So if you have colleagues that maybe couldn't be here today, please share with them. Our next one is coming up, I believe, on the 1st of November. So please share the opportunities with them, and please share the invite. And we'd love to have as many people as possible to really just get the word out. Ms. Butler and Ms. Schutzau, you guys hit the nail on the head. Our students need to know of all of the amazing federal agencies that we have across our state. And I'll tell you what, we only hit on a part of them today. You know, we've got the FBI and we've got the DEA, and I can go on and on and on. So we want to make sure that our students know that these places are right in their backyards.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Well, thank you all for taking the time to be with us today. We really appreciate it. And like I said, please pass on and share with your colleagues that we have 2 more sessions coming up. And thanks again to all of our federal partners.